figured I would revisit it. And it was something to go to. And then that kept on building and building and building. And now it's I just draw like really weird and whimsical like animals and stuff. And then I started putting text with it, and then I realized.
Hello and welcome. Today I am here with Tim Andraka of Tim Andraka Art, I guess. His latest project, though, was GooseMouth Comics, and I'm so excited to be talking a little bit with him about his most recent project. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, so I just released the Kickstarter book. The Kickstarter was successful and it's currently being printed. So I don't have it as of yet, but it will be coming.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your brand, your artwork. Like, what is it that you do?
So it's been kind of evolving over the years. I went through school not knowing what I wanted to do. I was one of the people who changed my major every few moments. But I just started drawing and I was like, I'm going to do this every day now. It was something I always did as a kid, and I figured I would revisit it. And it was something to go to. And then that kept on building and building and building. And now it's I just draw like really weird and whimsical like animals and stuff. And then I started putting text with it, and then I realized, oh, this is just like a comic. So it started off just as I wanted to be like a fine artist, but that wasn't really working for me. And I found this little like niche where it's just very, very weird and silly art, and I turned it into a comic, and here we are.
Yeah. Weird and silly is right. If any of you go to check out Tim Andraka on Instagram, he definitely appeals to a very certain, very specific taste in artwork. I will say that.
Yeah,
but I love it. I love it though. It's because you look at a drawing and you instantly know it's Tim, right? Like, actually, so before we get into your most recent project, I wanted to highlight, I was at a grocery store the other day and I was looking through the beer aisle, and I noticed a beer company that had featured artists on their cans. It was all original artwork. So one of those was yours. So tell us first a little bit just about that. This is kind of an offshoot, but I think it was a really cool opportunity for you, and I want you to share about that.
Yes, so you brought my attention to a brewery in your area called Springhouse, and they do this, I guess, an annual competition where they feature artists on their cans. And I sent over one of a coconut eating another coconut, and it was it got in. And honest, I still need to get a case of the beer. Eventually they give one, but it was really cool, and I would love to do more packaging design.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I think the IPA like beers offer the most like non-commercial looking commercial products.
Yeah.
So you can kind of put whatever there, and they make it a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was really excited to see that you had been chosen. But again, that was one of those things where like I was looking through all the different artist designs, and like as soon as I was like, oh, that's Tim's. It's just very unique and very recognizable. It was really, really awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was a complete sidebar, completely unplanned, so I apologize for that. So you talked a little bit about getting back into art and doing this drawing and kind of wanting to do this comic style. So coming into 2022, really, what was your biggest struggle in trying to make this a viable business outlet or revenue generator?
Well, one of my biggest issues has been like just having something on offer for my audience, and like honestly focusing on the business side of it. I'm always happy making the comics and doing that, but I really had nowhere to bring people who wanted. People are always asking me like, do you have prints? Do you have a shirt? Do you have this? And I was like, no. And I tried a few different things. Like I would try like the print on demand sites, like there's like Redbubble and stuff, but I didn't have any control of the quality. I didn't know what other people were getting. They also didn't show who was buying my stuff. So it was completely in the oblivion. And I'd get like a couple cents for every sale, and just not know who or what got it. So I wanted to make a book. I knew this. I had been planning it since like a year prior, and it's just been culminating in my head. And I thought, oh, eventually a publisher will find me. They'll be like, oh, this is very cool work. I'll put it out to people. But like I had a built-in audience. The stuff probably doesn't have mass appeal, I would imagine. You can't really market it to just anybody.
Right.
So I was actually taking your course, and there was a bunch of things culminating and bubbling up. But I was just like, I need to take this into my own hands. I want to put out a book. I'm going to do it now. And that, so Kickstarter ended up being a very good platform for that, because you can.
Yeah. So how did you decide on going with Kickstarter versus any other avenue for getting this comic book out there?
A bunch of other comic creators use it, and it already has like the built-in audience of like 20 to 30-year-olds, males and females, that are into like Dungeons and Dragons comics, like that
All
sort
the
of thing.
obscure stuff.
Yeah, yep. And they're like really looking for new products. I think it's good for anyone who has a creative outlet that like, and they're offering something new. I just looked on there today and they have like vegan beef jerky. So even if you're in that space, like just where, if you're making a new product, they want you. I don't think they do like GoFundMe type stuff. So they won't do like a charity, but so it's like very product driven.
Okay, great. So you decided on the Kickstarter for your comic book. And then so what do you think contributed to your Kickstarter success? So actually, let's back up real fast. Share how your Kickstarter ended.
It ended with, I was like 170% of my goal. So that was really good. I was able to print the book and then have like a little bit over. But I was able to get way more copies than I anticipated. So I'll be able to sell those at art shows. So it was successful, and it was within the first week it got funded.
So I did the math for 60 hours.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So when Tim put this Kickstarter out there, you and I had a conversation. You're like, if I'm not fully funded by the end of the month, like I can invest some money into it to just make it happen. And I was like, oh no, you'll be fully funded in 2 weeks. Like, don't worry about it. It's not going to take you that long. And then we turned around and 60 hours later, you had hit fully funded, which is absolutely bonkers. It was amazing to see. And then it just kept going from there. So being 170% funded, what do you think really contributed to that success?
Firstly, friends and family was like the first thing. Just getting out the word to them, because then they kind of tell all their friends. Like I have buddies that are like, hey, you like weird stuff, to say, check this out. So that was like the biggest thing that brought it in. Kickstarter itself has a very good like internal marketing. So in the first few like days, I got on the projects we love, so I was shown on the front page there. But then Instagram, it's all right for what it is. It eventually converted a lot. Like I would just have to consistently post about it like once a week. I didn't post about it enough, but every time I did it, I got a bunch of conversions from there. And then there was like a few obscure channels. Reddit is really good if you don't have like a built-in thing. It's like the perfect way to like cold market. I would just post on like the Kickstarter subreddit and a few others, and you can directly go from there. And they have a much more organic thing where like the best post will just rise to the top, and there's nothing too confusing with Reddit. So it's obscure, and it works. I mean, I only got a few sales through it, but it took like 2 minutes of work.
Yeah, so Reddit is one that I don't think many makers or creatives have really explored in terms of marketing what they do. So can you just share like a minute or two how you even discovered Reddit as a viable avenue for this?
So I didn't discover it as much as people were bringing it to my attention. People were posting my art on Reddit, and it was going viral there, but not on like Instagram. So then I was like, oh, I should probably lock this down. And so I got on Reddit and made my own account and started doing like, and there's like a subreddit. They do it by like different groups on specific categories, which is really cool, because then they like, if I post here, this is people who are specifically interested in knitting or comics or vegan beef jerky. And so only people who are interested in that will be browsing that. So on our comics, I would post and do like fairly well. And that stuff would just rise to the top, so people can go from there and then like look at my other stuff. And so, yeah, I think it's a good channel if you find the right communities. Some communities are more active than others. I
Yeah.
know the comics there are really, really active. So I don't
Yes.
know how it translates to like other specific industries.
Yeah, that seems like it
Right.
would be really effective with people who are, again, are into some of the more nerdy, nichey product avenues, or really unique niches like the knitting or like Pokemon or, dice bags, things like that.
Mhm.
But that's awesome. Like that's an avenue I don't think anyone is really talking about right now. And you're actually the second person I've heard even mention Reddit as any sort of organic marketing tool that I would love to dive into moving forward. Um, so as you're getting ready for this Kickstarter, and I'm asking you this because I know what your answer should be, had you leveraged any other marketing like email marketing or anything like that before getting started?
I learned about that from your course. Actually, I just started the email list, so I'm hoping it's a little more planned out for next Kickstarter. I only had I was able to get 20 people on from my Instagram, and then from the show I went to, I got another few people on. But I'm basically going around shows and build out the email list and make that a more core part of my business, because it is kind of disappointing to see the what Instagram will do if you use like any marketing terms or like, hey, buy my book. They're like, no, no.
Yeah. Yep.
None of this.
Exactly. Yeah. And, as you're building that email list, in my email marketing made easy, I have like a whole thing on emails you can send that's not selling, which you have access to. But anyone else who's interested, because you only had 20 people on, but you did a pre-sale on your Kickstarter just to those 20 people, and you hit what, like $400?
It was, yeah, it ended up being, yeah, I think it was even more than that. The first people, well, because everyone on my email marketing list got like the highest tier, the Golden Goose tier. So the original sold out really, really quick.
Yeah.
So that ended up putting me in a really good spot when I showed everyone else the Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly. Which is awesome. So you had all this traction, you had a really great Instagram following, you leveraged some email marketing, you're doing really well on Reddit, going into this Kickstarter. You had a really successful Kickstarter, but what are some things you learned along the way that you're like, oh, I could have done that better and had an even like higher success rate on this?
Oh, there's a bunch of things.
There's a book.
Yes, yeah. One is that not to do a soft launch again. That if you get it in like the first 24 hours, they like really, really are into that. And the Kickstarter website will like promote it like as hard as it can if you can do that. I didn't know that. I mean, I don't know how big that is, how big of a difference that will make. I will also add like more of the higher tiers. I had so few options, so it like sold out really quickly. And people kept on asking about that, and I had nothing to offer. I
Oh
had
no.
Yeah, so that was like lost opportunity
Lost out
there.
on so much money.
Yeah, for next time. There was what else? Sorry, I'm blanking out right here.
What about your promotion of it?
My promotion was pretty lackluster. I had like a few moments where it's like I should be promoting this. I think next time I'm going to prepare a bunch of comics that like subtly promote it in the posts. So like I had one that did really well. It was like a mouse. It was a bunch of mice, and they were like talking about the book. So I'll do more comics throughout. I'll have it all ready. And then I'll have things like to look forward to that unlock during certain points of the Kickstarter. Also, I'll be going around doing shows promoting it with my other book. I also like better photography and a better video. I really just kind of jumped in without doing much research on this one. So we'll see. Every year I'm going to be able to iterate on this and see how to make it better and fine tune it.
That's great. And so
Email marketing.
Yeah. So what is your plan for this book then? Like you've released the first comic. So what does the future look like for these then? Are you going to continue to do Kickstarters with new installments?
Kickstarters with new ones. I have the next 5 books planned out. And as I get better comics, I basically curate the best comics from that year, but I have the next 5 titles. The next one is Chamber of Honks. The first one was A New Honk,
Nice.
but they're all like they all have like the same goose on the cover, and that's kind of the common thread. And hopefully by some point, either I'll keep on doing Kickstarters for as long as I can, because it kind of gives me the creative freedom to do whatever I want. If I can get a publisher down the line, so I can start offering more than what I can physically print and have in storage, I will do that. But right now, that's the plan. Just keep on doing Kickstarters and building out this intellectual property, and then selling stuff based off of GooseMouth.
Great.
And the book is kind of the core item that everyone can have and show off and have fun with.
Awesome. Fantastic. And so, how did the course Confident Creators and how did working with me kind of really, what this is really, like, this feels like a really like grabby question, but how was it working with me through this process as you were getting this Kickstarter up and running?
It helped a lot. First off, the course itself was, I had all these like excuses, and you were able to like get in them surgically with precision, and like this, I was like, oh, I can't do this because I have this problem. Like, just like the common stuff that people tell themselves. Like, I would be like, I can't publish a book because nobody has reached out to me. There's no interest. But I was just telling myself that. Also that it wasn't right to make any money. That, yeah, basically all the like backwards thinking that creatives do, I am full of. And the lack of confidence, I got that too.
I hope that has gone away a little bit with this launch. Like, that's huge.
Yes, it's definitely been remedied. Obviously, that's a day-to-day thing. So.
Yeah. Right. Awesome. Well, Tim, just real quick, let us know where we can find you, buy your art, or follow along on your journey.
No worries. So you can find me on Etsy, Instagram, and I have my own website. Those are kind of the only 3 channels I'm on. It's Tim Andraka across the board. So timandraka.com, and then Tim Andraka on Instagram. And then the Etsy shop, you can search Tim Andraka or GooseMouth shop. At the time of this recording, it's Tim Andraka. It's probably going to change over to GooseMouth Comics. So either, if you search my name in Google, you'll find it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Tim. I appreciate you sharing about your Kickstarter journey and a little bit more about your business. And I wish you all of the best of luck as you continue to grow this art endeavor.
Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, Stephanie.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Bye.